Hey, what's up, guys? Rampedi here. The DSTV Premiership is back. Let's go.
That's how it goes?
They keep asking about the best when they know it's me.
Okay.
Asking about the rest when they know it's me.
Straight in, I guess.
You know it's me.
The DSTV Premiership is back. I mean, I was happy that it came back, right? I mean, we've been missing local football for quite a while. Big wins for TS Galaxy, Cape Town Spurs, and as well as Polokwane City. Sekhukhune, we don't miss you as well. But I zoomed in on the big three. Who are the big three? Mamelodi Sundowns, Orlando Pirates, and Kaizer Chiefs. I have to say, I was disappointed in all three of them. Yeah, I was. I mean, Sundowns and Pirates played against each other. That's the biggest game within South African football, right? But instead of us watching football, we were watching rugby, guys. Like, I mean, the tackles, the fighting, the pushing, the elbows, the handbags. What was that all about? I mean, I just, as I was watching, I just thought this is so boring. Like, we're not even watching two good teams really go up against one another. Because I reckon if they both played football, I think there would have been more goals in this game. I think there would have been beautiful play within this game. Kaizer Chiefs also, you're not exempt. I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't know what Kevin Johnson's trying to do, what the patterns are. Sometimes I look at these teams and I'm like, you've been gone away for 6 weeks. And all of us, we say, yeah, give them time. It's been 6 weeks. They're tired. But still, like, what were you guys working on within the 6 weeks? Kaizer Chiefs counter-attacking team now? Like, I mean, when are you guys going to be able to keep a ball together for ball possession? Doesn't look like it's going to happen. And I criticize these three teams because you guys are the flagship of this league, guys. You guys are supposed to be the leaders of this league. And especially you, Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs, you're chasing CAF spots. And you're playing like that. I mean, and Jose comes out and says he expected a red card. Well, if you're going to be playing like that, you are going to get a player sent off. And sometimes you're included too. You're included too. You're just so lucky that you guys are just so far ahead within the league. So you're probably going to win the league. That's for sure. So I don't worry about them. But the Soweto clubs, please, can you guys pull up your socks, man? That's all I'm asking for. Or else, you probably will miss out on CAF football. Cape Town Spurs, Amazulu, and Morocco Swallows. SAFPU General Secretary. Nhlanhla Shabalala, the guest on tonight's show. And he speaks about the most, or at least one of the most important points in South African football, the finances.
Another big guest on Playing the Field with Shakes. One thing I love about this guest is he's very vocal. He never hides his opinions when he needs to. Cape Town Spurs, Amazulu, Morocco Swallows, and now the SAFPU General Secretary, Nhlanhla Shabalala. How are you, sir?
I'm good, and thank you very much for having me. It's been a great weekend. I'm looking forward to the week ahead.
I can imagine. I've always wanted to ask this question whenever I got in touch with you. How did you get to a situation where now you're representing players? Like, was there a need for it? Was it a burning desire? Like, how does one player go from the field and then decide, you know what, I'm going to represent players now?
Yeah, I think it was a calling more than anything. I played for a team that never experienced any problems. I mean, from the day I arrived at Ajax till I left, I never had any payment dispute. Everything was done on time, punctually. There were no issues in relation to my contract. Wow. But because I am friends with a lot of guys in football, my colleagues, I would hear stories and understand, the hardships on the other side. And I knew that those of us who have no fear of speaking, we have a responsibility to deliver those and ensure that we protect those that cannot speak for themselves, and we, correct all the wrongs in football. I mean, that's why I participated and I joined SAFPU in the year 2005.
I appreciate the fact that you took that opportunity and the fact that you were going forth with it. I just wanted to also ask you, like, how big is that problem of money within our football? Because, there's TTM that was there, then Royal AM were there, and some reports, and then Swallows now, and then Banyana's bonuses. And is it a big, big problem, this thing?
The money issue is a big problem. I think not just in South Africa, in Africa and globally, but I think we're experiencing this more in South Africa, or Africa to say the least. Contractual stability is one of the biggest problems that we have. We have teams that don't honor, the agreements, and that creates a big problem because you cannot move and run a team o batle go freestyle. It doesn't work like that. When you've got a contract that you signed, it means you agree on those terms. And it will be a very good thing, in good faith to ensure that that agreement is honored by both parties. I mean, you talk of Banyana, as you said. It was just a simple thing of respect, where they said, can we have a sit down with the head of the organization so that we break down some of the things here? We have grievances. We're not happy with the bonus structure that's introduced. We're not happy with the conditions of the hotel where we are put into a 2-star, 3-star hotel when we prepare for the World Cup. We don't think it's appropriate that we go and play on the field that is substandard, that even the PSL or NFD does not consider a playable field. It's just genuine concerns that they raise. But when there's a lack of respect from the other side to come down and really recognize me as a worker, to say I've got grievances, and where my superiors come and sit down with me and we thresh out all the issues, we agree to disagree agreeably where there is a need, and we take some when we lose some. That's part of the negotiations. As well as issues, it's the same thing everywhere. I think in the NFT PSL, we have some teams that are just not about these contracts. And I also have said before, I think we need to have administrators of these clubs going through a course where they are taught on how to do, the good running of this football, the do's and don'ts of football, management of football. What is a contract? Because I can tell you, as shocking as it is, some people that we came across who are entrusted to run the management aspect of things in some of the teams, they don't even understand these contracts or know what is contained in those contracts. So how would those people honor that, or ensure that that is honored on behalf of the player, if they have no understanding whatsoever?
I see. No, I totally understand. And I'm glad that there's some teams that are like allowing you at the table. I don't know if this team has allowed you at the table. Morocco Swallows, you've spoken about them. I don't know how it works that, one day there's players there, next day 20 players are released, the next day, like, there's new players at the club, the coach is not there. I don't know how does that work from a player's perspective of things. I mean, is it possible for a player to sign a contract and then out of the blue say, Nhlanhla Shabalala, thanks for everything, you go because I can't pay you? Is that possible?
Nah, it's not possible. It's unlawful, to say the least. It's really unlawful, and that is why we fought with everything that we have. I mean, like we said, the Moegoe Swallows, the only person who was on strike, it was the chairman, David Machash, where he cancelled the game. He knows his reasons. These players were committed in playing. They arrived at the place, venue, and time where they said, come through. There's a game that must play. We need to discuss the issue of the finances. There's no secret that the team owed them money for months and months. And when the chairman cancelled the game, on the basis that the players said, we need to engage on this because we are not necessarily willing to play if we don't know of any commitment in relation to the finances. It's either you pay us or we have something in writing, that also secures our financial future, because we've let this situation happen for too long, and now we are taking a stand, and it's our right to do so. Yes, you can look at it from the legal perspective, the processes and all of that, but the verbal agreements or discussions that you have with your chairman, they cannot be rubbished. They become a formal process that has been undertaken, where the chairman has called all the players under one roof to speak about the challenges and asking for mercy and asking for grace and saying, I will pay, I'm making a plan. They've been very understanding, to a point where when you take a stand, then the team goes and attacks you, as if you are doing something wrong. Because for some people, this is just a political game. Sheikhs, this is not a game. I don't care who says what. This is about impilo zabantu. People have responsibilities. They've got families to feed, and we must take that very serious. A lot of weight lies on these players' shoulders. And for you as a chairman, to mess my rights for a year or two, and eventually when I fight back, you want to go the legal route and say all these things about me, it shows no remorse in relation to what has been happening. So the players were right in fighting for what is theirs. They took a stand. And indeed, they needed to get their money. Now, the contracts of those players were also terminated. You know that we would have gone to the disciplinary hearing with the Moegoe Swallows and the players that we represented, because I think out of a pool of 35, we had about 22 eventually, and we proceeded with that. And based on the recommendations of the chairperson of the internal disciplinary hearing, there was a recommendation that all players must be dismissed. Not only our players, all other players that were represented by all other different entities or bodies. And indeed, Swallows did that. They called the players. Some of them were issued with termination letters. Some were given clearances. And we ensured them that we will take all these matters to the NDRC. And when the process was unfolding, Swallows then called back some of the players, if not most, to the office. Others were re-signed on a new contract. So this is the feedback that we rely on, because members give us this feedback where they said they negotiated new terms which are better. We'd like to believe that, because that's what we hope for. Others said they kept things as they were, and they've also engaged on the due and payables in how they are going to pay them. There are agreements that are signed in relation to that, so which is a good thing. So a lot of those players were retained. Others settled with Swallows amicably. They agreed on the payment structure that has to take place. So we're happy that what we did has also put pressure on Moegoe Swallows to do the right thing, regardless of the recommendations of the chairperson. This is the work that SAFPU has done.
Does it hurt you, it being your former club, in terms of what's happening at this moment? Because you once played for them.
Yes, it always hurts, but it's not just because it's a former team that I played for. I mean, when I played for Swallows, they were having problems, financial problems with the non-payment of salaries. And actually, this is how I got to start training with Swallows. We were there to intervene as SAFPU. Ian Korowa, who has been my coach from the youth days at Ajax, was the coach at Swallows. And we engaged, and we tried to resolve. I believe there was nothing that we could do or get out of that Swallows. With the former leadership, their finances were scattered. They were just going all the way to the ground. And upon that, we reached an agreement of some sort with the team. And I said to Ian, I would love to train. I think you guys are left with 3 or 4 months. Probably there's something that I can give you. Let me share a bit of weight, because my first love has always been to play football. Being the Deputy General Secretary at SAFPU was very important, but I needed to be a worker leader as well, so that I can assist with the issues on the ground. And that's how it came about. And Ian allowed. I trained for a month. I got fit. And they felt, okay, I think we can include you now in some of the games, because you can't be given 3 months, because that time will be relegated. I think I contributed well to some of these games, knowing very well that these players are not being paid. And to a certain extent, I assisted some of them with my money, They would tell you your poison mbata, you can use tole, your type of Mama Bulos at the time. They know that Obrima Tibe can bear witness to that, because he was still also a keeper at Moegoe Swallows, where we had to ensure that the team spirit is intact. We protect the guys, we keep them motivated, so that we just survive a relegation. And if we do, we were hoping that there's a buyer, because I knew at the time Panyaza, there were talks that he's taking over or he's going to be more involved. And also we were just looking at that and saying, let's save football and see what happens in the next season.
Before I jump onto the football questions, I just wanted to say there's 15-year-old boys here that are playing football or something, and they said to you, Mr. Shabalala, please let us know advisedly what's the best clubs to deal with, or the best clubs to at least go into a negotiation with, because I'm sure there must be clubs that have stuck to contracts whenever they needed to, maybe the likes of SuperSport, Sundowns, maybe Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates. What would be your advice? You said you didn't have any problems at Cape Town Spurs, so what would be your advice to young talent that is coming into the game, and maybe where they should sort of focus on going in the way?
It's a very tough one. A very tough one. And I don't want to single out teams as if some are great, some are not. But I think most of the teams that have resources are professionally run, because the pocket allows, and they've been longer in the game, and there's a structure, that has been put in place. Yeah, we hardly have problems with SuperSport United. We hardly have problems with Amatax. Obviously, you've got your Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns, not discrediting all other teams. I think it's Cape Town Spurs, Cape City. Yes, Cape City, Cape Spurs. It would have been fine because the bosses, I started in the youth and they were there and they moved to the other side. They're doing wonders. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's up to the players to pick and choose where they want to go on the basis that things are done properly or professionally there. Sometimes, the journey shapes us for what we have to be, and you cannot overrule your destiny as a footballer. But I think if you are really committed and you want to make it, wherever you are and wherever you taken, you need to just give your all focus, be professional, be dedicated in the game, but also pay attention to detail. I think what I want to see in the next generation of these youngsters that you are talking about is to see players that are politically conscientized, not for them to go and run and cause havoc at these teams, but to know, what is a contract, financial literacy, what is it talking about? Their responsibilities in the community. What does that entail? What are my rights as a footballer? What can be done to me? Everything that has to do with contractual stability, they need to know that, because talent is one thing, but you can play and be the best player in South Africa if you don't know what you are doing in relation to the contracts, because at the end of the day, that's where it comes down. You are going to have an agent one day that when you retire, he's is more prosperous than you or rich than you as a footballer, but you are the product that has generated all this income. But because we surrender all the power, we surrender everything and to our agents and give them the total responsibility to manage our affairs, where we close our eyes and look the other way and just base their own trust. More of them have proven not to be trustworthy.
And the final question I have, which is a football question, according to you, Mr. Shabalala, you can answer it any way you'd like. There's no wrong or right answers. Where is South African football for you right now?
I believe we are in a great place. Look, if you look at us and other African countries, one of the blessings that we have, we've got sponsorship. We are able to get strong, influential stakeholders forming part of football, contributing financially to grow the game and everything. And South African football in relation to Africa, I think we're one of the best that is up there. And we need to uphold our level and our standards, but ensure that we don't take away the dignity and the integrity of the game. All the gains that football has made from way back to where we are today. Because everybody looks at South Africa. You see even players from South America and everywhere around Africa, they want to come and play in South Africa. I think that tells you exactly where this league is, and also financially that some teams are able to pay, good salaries to players, and some unfortunately are there just trying. It's just unfortunate that the media would sometimes say Nhlanhla Shabalala earns 600,000 rands a month from the team that he plays for. And in my view, I don't believe there's a player in the South African PSL who earns anything close to even 500,000, in my view, and I'm still yet to see that contract. And maybe I'll say this is one of the rare cases. But what we also put out in the media in relation to what they earn also causes a lot of confusion in relation. And sometimes you find these players wanting to live that particular life to satisfy that narrative that has been painted there, because there's an expectation that has been created. It works both ways nonetheless. But PSL is on the right track. Yes, we seem to be doing great and we can get better. But the image of this league, and the work that has been put out there needs to be protected. And all those teams that come in and really do not honor contracts, where players are made to train for 3 hours and they are not allowed water break because the chairman wants to set a statement. That is cruelty against humanity. Those are type of things that we need to get rid of. And I still say, for the league to maintain and grow bigger, they need to really have a vigorous training camp. A training camp, and I'm not making a mistake, a training camp for all the team managers where they need to go and be workshopped for at least a week.
Mr. Shabalala, thank you so much for being a guest. I just want to say the good work that you're doing for the players, for everyone. I know some people don't have the loudest voices. Some people don't have the courage to speak. But when we hear you speak, it's great to see you defending our football in the way that you are. And I only wish you massive success. It must keep going on. And if you're earning that 600K, give us some of it whenever you have a chance.
No. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And we'll continue. We'll continue with the work that we do. We will try our best to unite all these teams as well. We want to assist. We want to contribute to the growth of football. We are not this animal that is here to fight against the progress of football, but we want to ensure that everybody has rights and everybody's rights are protected, and all of us ensure that even those young ones there at the grassroots level, they walk into a structure that is professionally run, that will also protect their interests, because we want to produce the best footballers in the world. And we can only do that when they don't feel victimized or taken for granted in relation to that. But we love football and we want it to grow. So we'll keep doing what we're doing. Sometimes it might come across as though it's aggressive, but you must know that that would be required. Now, on the basis of, the nonsensical behavior that we get, the disrespect, because some things, they get to a level where it's enough and you need to be radical in what you do. But nonetheless, we love football. We're all footballers. Let's protect this game. And yeah, that's it. Safpu is there and he cares about the players and football in general.
Thank you so much, man. Please do keep well and blessed.
No, thank you very much, leadership. I appreciate you.
Who was up to par and who became our star? But also, who fell short in this game we all love? Let's find out on Moegoe of the Week. Star of the Week goes to TS Galaxy. Played the best football over the weekend. Coming from behind, scoring 3 goals, getting 3 points. Stand up, see Dramovic and your team. Brilliant. Loved it. The Moegoe of the Week. We've got 2 Moegoes. One plays for Pirates, one plays for Mamelodi Sundowns. Miguel Tim and Butterwell. Experienced professionals making amateur mistakes. Miguel Tim, you're already on a yellow card. Why are you trying to impede Ronald Williams? Butterwell, your team is leading and already you're hugging players in the box and conceding a penalty. What are you both doing? Hey, Moegoes of the Week. It's time for Bet of the Week. Get ready to win big by placing the right bets on the right games. Another week of UEFA Champions League football, and that is definitely going to be on my bet slip. 4 games, and you won't believe the odds, 7.88. Just for 4 games. Let's get into it. Inter going up against Atletico Madrid, both teams to score, yes. PSV going up against Dortmund, both teams to score, yes. Porto against Arsenal. I've gone with a draw or Arsenal win and over 1.5 goals. Napoli against Barca, I don't think Napoli lose. I've gone with the double chance of Napoli or draw. And I told you about the odds. That means from 350 turns into 2,700 with that bet boost. If you want to win with me, click on the link below. Remember to practice responsible betting at betway.co.za. We've come to the end of the show, guys. But now we must go. But before we do go, because Nedbank Cup is on, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're notified for future episodes. I'll see you.
At a stage, I just looked up and closed my eyes, and the tears started running down my face. Hope is it's an interesting thing.